Live and on demand from the Chautauqua Audio Works.
Happening now, police identify the man who perished in Thursday's fatal fire. Local Sam's Club members receive more information about the closing of a local club. Your First Defense forecast is calling for more sunshine today and a warm-up this weekend. And Ryan has a look at your Phone Zone Sports Desk. That's news now for Friday, January 19th, 2018.
Live and on demand from the Chautauqua Audio Works studios in downtown Jamestown. This is your source for breaking news. WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us. I'm Justin Gould, live from our newsroom this afternoon. Our top story today: authorities have identified the man recovered in Thursday's fatal house fire on Carey Place in the city of Jamestown. Firefighters say 74-year-old Patrick Riley was found inside the house when crews arrived on scene.
During their search, they found a victim in the second floor, removed him, where he was transported to the WCA hospital. And we continued to do our extinguishment and our follow-up investigation afterwards.
Firefighters report much of that blaze was contained to the rear of the structure. Jamestown Fire Lieutenant Tim Glenn says that the fire appears to be a tragic accident. Two men face a plethora of charges following a traffic stop when police say they confiscated more than a half an ounce of crystal meth on Wednesday. 26-year-old Zachary Withdrow of Youngsville, Pennsylvania, and 28-year-old Jacob Motherwell of Jamestown were stopped in a traffic stop along Allen and King Street on Wednesday night. Cops say that the driver of the vehicle, Withrow, was in possession of more than 14 grams of methamphetamine and some other substances. Meanwhile, Motherwell was combative with officers refusing to get into their police vehicle. Both were taken to the city jail and arraigned. Local Sam's Club members have received letters about the future of their membership and the company as a whole. Walmart Corp., who owns Sam's Club, announced last week that they were closing 63 stores across the country, including one right here in Jamestown. The letter states that members can receive a full refund or continue their membership by shopping online at samsclub.com/update membership. More than 100 Jamestown employees will be out of a job when the stores close its doors this week. And now we turn to Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter, who's here with me with a first look at our forecast.
Yes, this is exciting, y'all.
Yeah, isn't it?
You know, this is like a nice little thing, and you know, we're having a little technical defuncle in the
we
studio.
had some electrical problems with our studio, so now we have our graphics here.
And so we are unable to show the regular graphics, but I just happen to have a tablet here. So why don't we just do the weather on that today? So pretty much, let's take a look at it. So 33 degrees will be the high for today, pretty much in the valleys. We'll go to 37 at the Lake Erie shoreline, and we'll see some sunshine. That'll feel nice today, and that warm-up will continue throughout the day today, going into the weekend. Of course, I'll have more in that full First Defense weather segment in just a few minutes.
All right, Dakota, thank you very much. Coming up in just a bit here, we have a congressional candidate in studio. And later on, a CNBC crew is facing charges after bringing an alleged bomb into an airport, part of a story they were doing. When we return.
WNY News Now is sponsored by Chautauqua Audio Works, 3335 South Roberts Road in Fredonia. More than a music store. Call 679-4333. Call now, 679-4333. WNY News Now is sponsored by Chautauqua Audio Works, 3335 South Roberts Road in Fredonia. More than a music store. Call 679-4333. Call now, 679-4333.
The Main Landing Restaurant Excellent service, awesome food, and a beautiful view.
Everything's made fresh here. We love to be outside, and it's nice inside if it's raining, so we have a choice.
Locals and non-locals agree that the main landing is quickly becoming a destination.
It's just so casual, and just the food is amazing.
I love the hamburgers.
But I really like the tuna I had.
The main landing restaurant. Excellent service, awesome food, and a beautiful view.
Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now. You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
And welcome back to News Now. Ian Golden is a candidate for Congress. Yesterday we had another woman in studio talking about it, and today Ian blesses us with his presence on a day that is kind of unorthodox for our newsroom, but thank you for being here.
Yeah, Justin, thanks for the opportunity.
So first I want to ask you, why run for Congress?
So legitimately concerned for the future of my daughters. I just felt like so many angles in our communities were not good for so many people, not sustainable, and I was legitimately worried for their future.
What is your background? I guess you have children, obviously, but you live in central New York. Where are you from?
I grew up in rural Pennsylvania, and so that's really my roots are rural. And I spent 18 years of my life in Tompkins County. I'm a small business owner, father, as I mentioned, and a husband, and it's really what my life's been about.
We've seen a lot of pushback at various meetings that Tom Reed has hosted across Chautauqua County here and across much of his district. Why do you think there's this resistance all of a sudden that we've never seen before?
I think people are at wit's end, and there's 45%, I think, of households across our district are really having a tough time making ends meet. I don't know if there's a lot of easy answers out there, but I know a lot of people are struggling. When you get into some of the issues that have been on the table this year that Representative Reed has been working on, they're really tough topics for people, whether it be healthcare, whether it be taxes. And so, they hit people home pretty hard, and budgets are already pretty tight. So,
how would you be different than Tom Reed?
Partly, I think I'm more grounded in Representative Reed. I think Representative Reed, in many ways, has become a congressperson. I think he's, in some senses, a very effective congressperson, but I don't think it's necessarily rooted in the district. I think we have some ideological differences, but I feel like I am here. I know what it's like to be on the ground trying to make ends meet, and I'm here to really represent and listen to the constituents. I think a difference would be Representative Reed is largely funded by a lot of super PACs and money outside of the district, and that's really who he and I think, unfortunately, many Congress people represent. And I think that's what's been lost, and I think that's what's also resonates in the 17% of people that say they approve of Congress. Well, that's a pretty significant majority that don't approve of congressional representatives, and I think that really speaks to where they really lose touch with the ground audience.
We've seen a plethora of businesses close throughout Western New York in the last year. A lot of businesses coming in, but a majority of them closing. And Sam's Club was one of the most recent hits to Jamestown. We had one on Fairmount Avenue close just a few weeks ago. A lot of breadwinners there now without a job. What would you have to say to them? What could you do to turn something like that around?
Yeah, and that's tough, right? I mean, it's not only has our district and Chautauqua specifically been hit by loss of career opportunities, whether it be manufacturing or other just occupational sectors, but also something like this where it might be retail trade. I mean, it does hit hard. We spoke with a friend here on the ground is a baker, and she sources some of her supplies through Sam's Club. So it hits households hard. It also hits a piece of the wheel of the local economy fairly hard as well. I don't know all of the reasonings for Walmart Corporation or Sam's Club.
Right.
For a lot of these, I think it's just related to just not enough demand to keep them viable. And for a private corporation, a for-profit entity, I get that. I think a lot of entities are unfortunately going where they're getting more tax incentives, tax breaks, but the reality on the ground is that there's not enough demand, their numbers don't work. And so we need to figure out any number of ways to go about trying to spur that demand and get us as small businesses more customers through the door. And that's something, so for the past 12 years as a small business owner, I've been trying to do all I can to create jobs, keep jobs in our communities, but it's not getting any easier. So it's something to be figured out.
Shift gears quickly to net neutrality. It's been a big headline across much of the country, in the rollback of it. Why is it important for people to take to kind of recognize something like this, and where do you stand on the rollback?
Yeah, I think this is a perfect example of where Washington, whether it be through the FCC or whether it be speaking to some of the representatives in Congress and how they weighed in, is really out of touch with the rest of the country, really, and really the interests they are serving. When you look at net neutrality and know that upwards of 80% of individuals across the country, crossing all party lines, are in favor of net neutrality, and yet you have subcommittees or government heads weighing in against it, it's crazy, really. So I'm very much in favor of net neutrality, from businesses to households. The internet is crucial to a lot of our economies and just daily life, right? And so if you have often monopoly telecom companies, weighing in and now controlling those bandwidths and those equations, that becomes a very, very serious issue.
Switching gears here, we have a lot of gun owners throughout Chautauqua County and the district. I want to get your stance on Governor Cuomo's SAFE Act and if you'd be for gun regulation nationally.
Yeah, I think it's a very real issue, not just for our district, but rural America at large. I think gun owners have largely been cast as criminals, or feeling like they're cast as criminals, and it really gets into some of their roots in family, and it's a very serious topic. And I think the SAFE Act was an example of a piece of legislation that was really cast from the government level down. It wasn't something that was bringing legal, responsible gun owners to the table and saying, hey, there is an issue here, right? There's 427 mass shootings last year, over 600 killed, 2,000, I think, injured. Really serious, right, topic. But the reality is that the vast, vast majority of gun owners are responsible, legal gun owners, right? And so if we're going to talk about legislation, if we're going to craft legislation, then we really need those voices at the table to show us really and work together to figure out what that would look like.
And earlier this week, Governor Cuomo discussed the idea of legalizing recreational marijuana. Do you agree with that?
I do. I think you look at for me, myself, I've never smoked marijuana, so it's not like it's a piece of my background.
Right.
But at the same time, I see the economic value that it presents. The various communities and states across the country that have legalized it, and how they're able to really feed it into their economies. I think for an area like ours, with as much agricultural land as we have, with the economic woes that we have, I think that it would be an example of, if we're looking at alcohol and tobacco that's legal, I think that it should really follow course, be legal, regulated in a similar manner. And also, beyond economic benefits, it really will overlap with some of the issues we're seeing, the opioid crisis, right? I mean, if we're taking a certain degree of those sales and putting it into rehabilitation and treatment models, it's tough to find those funds elsewhere. And so I think it would present us a whole lot of opportunity.
And Ian, thank you again for joining us.
Yeah, Justin,
Final
thank you.
question here. Schools across the country and right here in Jamestown are struggling to find engagement from kids, and some kids don't even feel safe when they come into school. How would you in Congress help that situation and prepare our next generation?
Yeah, there's there's a program in Steuben County, actually it's, I think it's Chemung County, it's right near the border. It's a P-Tech STEM academy associated with BOCES, or BOCES program. I think there's a year into a program here in Dunkirk, I believe, as well. It's a model that really bridges the vocational training with a traditional educational model, and I think it really speaks to a lot of the kids that we've missed with some of the maybe direction toward college-oriented tracks. You look at some of our employers around here who really do have jobs available for those who have the right skills and can be able to stay drug-free, right? And so I really want to do all that I can to weigh in to be sure that our educational programs are really not legislator-driven, but really teacher and student-driven. And to do that, also really weigh in with connections around the community, whether it be Cummins or other manufacturers here, say, hey, what skills do we really need to be having our kids come out of school with? And we need to be sure that that's a very real part of the training as well. And so that's one piece that I'm very inspired by, is those models. But really we got to ensure that it's, I think, teacher and student driven.
All right, perfect. Ian Golden, candidate for Congress here in the 23rd Congressional District.
Yeah. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you, sir, for being here.
Thank you
Hopefully
very
we'll
much.
have you back.
Yeah, thanks so much.
On the other side, Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter is back here with a look at your forecast. We'll be right back.
Like great food, great news needs experts. Become a community reporter when you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about. Drop us a line on Facebook today. Speaking of great food, Jeremy's Bellevue offers pasta, classic burgers, seafood, and of course, wings. Visit Jeremy's Bellevue on Facebook.
The team that puts coverage first.
We have some breaking news. Police confirming now that Steve Stevens was found dead in Erie, Pennsylvania.
His house is on fire and it's dangerously close to the Appleyard Terrace.
Fire crews battling another blaze.
It needs to be treated as the terrorist act that it is.
He got the ball, he just went to the hoop and he shot it.
And as for the star of the show, Tucker Pierce.
I feel good.
Proceeds from the Battle of the Classes going to the Alex Folk Foundation.
50 years of service and dedication to anything is very impressive. Put your lives on the line for your neighbors.
It's just something that I think people should do. You have to give back to the community.
WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now. WNY Sports Now is powered by Phone Zone of Jamestown. With the largest inventory around, we buy and sell our own merchandise at a price that can't be beat. Have a broken screen? We'll fix it. Learn more at PhoneZoneShop.com. Now, your first defense forecast with Dakota Hunter.
Well, welcome back to News Now. Boy, this is just sort of like an exciting journey. And so today we are kind of unable to show the regular weather graphics, but I just happen to have a feed up here on this monitor, and I have my tablet. So why don't we just do the weather on that today? So first of all, let's start with the radar. You were looking at the Buffalo NextRad radar here on my tablet, and it's pretty quiet across the state today, and that will remain the story throughout the day and throughout the next couple of days. Now, on the National Satellite and Radar Mosaic imagery, which you see on the monitor behind me here, pretty quiet across much of the state. We do have some clouds hanging around, but that should remain throughout the day and probably breaking up throughout the day going into tomorrow. Now, these are small numbers, but these are temperatures around our region, which we're right up in here. These are temperatures in the mid-20s, and those were the high temperatures yesterday, so at least I can say we're done with that for a little while. This is the weekend planning forecast, and you can see we go warmer tomorrow. We're going to go 38 valleys, 42 at the lakeshore areas. Partly sunny. Clouds will increase in the afternoon hours, but Sunday we bring in a chance for rain showers. There is a chance that the rain showers early in the day could be mixed with a few wet snowflakes, mainly eastern areas of the southern tier, 39 valleys, going to 43 at the lakeshore areas. And note the wind on Saturday, 12 to 26 miles an hour. It will be a tad breezy, so you might want to keep that in mind. Hang on to your hats, because it will be just a tad bit breezy. And here's that 7-day forecast brought to you by Quick Solutions. You can see pretty much right there, we go 50. I officially put 50 in the forecast for Monday. That's going to feel nice. That's going to be another January thaw. But take a look at this. The temperatures drop back into early next week, and we're bringing some more snow to wrap up the middle of the week going into the later part of next week. We will have sports right after the break, so stay with us.
First Defense Weather is sponsored by Quick Solutions of Jamestown. Count on Quick Solutions for printing, copying, mass mailings, and so much more. Part of your team. Learn more at QuickSolutionsUSA.com. That's QuickSolutionsUSA.com. You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now. Like great food, great news needs experts. Become a community reporter when you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about. Drop us a line on Facebook today. Speaking of great food, Jeremy's Bellevue offers pasta, classic burgers, seafood, and of course, wings. Visit Jeremy's Bellevue on Facebook. You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
From the Phone Zone Sports Desk, I'm Ryan Hedrick. Here's a look at what's trending in Western New York. We have a very special guest on the phone line. His name is Ron Lemon. He's a rabid St. Bonaventure basketball fan, and of course, St. Bona has a huge nationally televised game against Davidson. Ron, good afternoon. For St. Bonaventure, they started off hot out the gates after the loss to Niagara. They got off on the right foot, beating UMass in the A-10 opener. Now they've struggled a little bit, losing 3 of their last 4 games. What can we surmise from the start that St. Bonaventure has had?
I would say a couple of those were games that they possibly should have won, and then a couple others were games that we knew they'd be a struggle. We just didn't expect them to lose the way they did.
Friday Fast Break on the Phone Zone Sports Desk. Ron Lemon joining us on the phone line. He's an avid St. Bonaventure hoops fan. Ron, is some of what St. Bonaventure going through right now, having lost 3 of their last 4, a tribute to how tough the Atlantic 10 Conference is?
In the Atlantic 10 as a conference, be rated as high as the 6th best conference in the country. This year, they're rated right around 10th or 11th, so they were not supposed to be as strong as they have been in the past, which again made it probably a little more prime season for St. Bonaventure to actually step up and have some great success. So I'm kind of surprised after their opening conference win against UMass. I'm kind of surprised that they've lost 3 out of their last 4 and who they've lost them to, because as we know, they were predicted to finish first or second in the conference in a poll of the coaches prior to the season beginning.
Friday Fast Break with Ron Lemon talking St. Bonaventure hoops. Ron, final question for you. Tonight's nationally televised game against Davidson presents a tough challenge. Davidson 9-7, but 4-1 in conference. Can this be a game that can kind of catapult St. Bonaventure to a different level of play down the stretch as we head into February?
I don't think we're there quite yet, because the end result is how you play in the postseason tournament really has a lot to do with where you end up and where you go. And I think they had a solid enough non-conference schedule to help them out. But certainly, I think this is going to be a good measure to see if they're really that team that we thought they were prior to the A-10 season starting. So it'll be a good measure. But again, what it all comes down to is you can still make a run in the conference, and I think they're good enough that even if they can get into the conference championship game in March, that will speak well for them. But you certainly don't want to see them struggling the way they have been. And again, Davidson, despite their record 9-7 and 4-1 in the conference, they played a very difficult non-conference schedule. So this would be a quality win for Bonas if they could step up. And again, it's on the road. Any road win in the Atlantic 10 is a good win, in my opinion.
That is the Friday Fast Break with Ron Lemon talking St. Bonaventure hoops. St. Bonaventure men.
Alrighty, Ryan, thank you. Looking forward to more coverage of the St. Bonaventure men's and women's basketball team. Incredible squad there. Well, a television film crew was arrested in New Jersey on Thursday after authorities there say that they attempted to pass a suspicious item with explosive-like material inside. They attempted to take that through security at the Newark Liberty International Airport. This photo of the package, that authorities say 7 people were arrested by TSA officials and police there because they were trying to bring that suspicious item on board. A preliminary investigation found that some of the members of the group was also filming while they were going through that checkpoint. And Dakota, this appears to all be part of some sort of MSNBC report.
Oh boy.
To check to see if they could get that device through security.
Do you know, this reminds me, I don't know if anybody's been on YouTube recently and has seen the video from Channel 9 out of Chicago, where there was supposedly like a plane crash in the middle of a freeway.
Really?
And they sent the helicopter out, and it was like breaking news.
Right.
I mean,
like
you know,
they declared it in their newsroom.
Yeah, and actually it was right while they were on the air. They got it in, and you know, they got the call actually from the control room that there was a plane crash.
Right, like their producers confirmed it or whatever.
Yeah, and it was right in the middle of show, and they went live to a scene, and it come to find out it was actually for a movie that was being filmed. And
What?
they didn't tell the news people
Oh
that
my
a movie was being
gosh.
filmed there.
That's crazy.
That's exactly what that reminds me of.
But see, by the way, those folks there at MSNBC are now facing charges, the TSA says. So it's like a story gone bad, but I don't know why you would even try to bring that through. I mean, I get like testing their security, but you'd think they'd rather like clear it with the TSA higher ups, so to speak. Like it would be a TSA drill that they'd ride along with. That seems like the more plausible path to get to that story.
Yeah, instead of like, you know, just springing it up out of nowhere. I could see where that definitely could become an issue.
And you know, it's funny. When Ryan early this morning, he pitched the MSNBC story to us. You can kind of see our storyboard behind the thing. He pitched it. He's like, "Why don't you talk about that? That would be a good ending story." And I'm like, "Yeah." And then we didn't know that we'd be kicked out of our studio due to some defuncles.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right. Hey, it still works. Everything works.
Yeah, and you know,
this is beautiful. I like this set.
Yeah, and you know, I just
this
gotta
is a
say,
nice desk.
you know, we had we called in extra tech people.
Yeah,
and
we called the
had
cavalry
them
to get this.
scrambling, getting things
So
set. And
we got to give a round of applause to Storm and Andy and Ryan and your hard work this morning. I really thank you guys for helping get this on the air.
we will do whatever we need to do in the midst of a crisis to bring the news to you.
Don't do that again. Let's get to here. I'm gonna hit your button.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, let's take a look at that Quick Solutions 7-day forecast one final time. So pretty much 34 degrees for today, partial sunshine. We've actually got some nice sun glaring here.
That's
into
what
the
I kind of
newsroom
like
here.
about this.
It's
It's nice because we got the windows.
Yeah, it's really nice. We got some of that sunshine, and we're bringing the rain again for Sunday and Monday. Take a look at that, 50 Monday. I officially put it in the forecast.
You're gonna like it.
That's going to feel nice, but we do have to keep an eye on for, again, more ice jams because of the melting ice, of the melting ice. We will.
Melting mice?
Yeah.
They're
it's
like,
a Friday.
They're Elton John mice.
Yes. Of the melting ice. Going on a local streams and creeks because of the warmer temperatures. And then the temperatures fall back for early next week when we start to bring in some more snow showers as well.
Thank you, sir, for that.
See you Monday.
We'll see you guys on Monday. Be sure to tune on to WNYNewsNow.com for the very latest news, weather, and sports. Have a great weekend.